Hello and welcome to the fourth installment of our child safety series in association with Reliance Insurance. I'm Animesh and with me of course is Sergis Barreto, our content development editor. We are seated on two wheels, so of course this video will talk about child safety on two wheels. So Sergis, let me get right down to it. How do I keep my kids safe on two wheels?
Short answer, you keep them off the two
Really?
wheels. Yeah.
No rides whatsoever?
Ideally, in an ideal world, yes, Animesh. As you can see, two-wheelers are too open to the world, right, around you. So you're exposed to the elements in case of any mishap or a fall or a spill. You're going to be coming in contact with the earth or with vehicles around, and that's too dangerous. It's too dangerous for children whose bodies are still developing and not yet strong enough. So ideally, yeah, I'd say try and keep them off two wheels as far as possible.
So bottom line, keep them off two wheels, and if you do need to travel, use public transport, right?
As far as possible, as far as practical, yes, certainly rickshaws, trains,
buses, good old buses.
Yeah, you know, certainly. But I understand, yeah, sometimes you're going to have to get onto a
Yeah,
two-wheeler.
there may be public transport strikes, for instance. So what do we do in that case? And let's start off by talking about infants.
Yeah, so there again, the answer is no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, the problem is an infant cannot hold him or herself onto the bike, right? Somebody has to hold the child in their arms. So that person is not going to have a grip on the bike. So you're trying to hold a baby and hold yourself onto the bike. That's dangerous. Should you have a spill, you know, the baby's going to go flying somewhere, or you could, of course, strap a child like
you have those carriers, right?
Exactly. You could do that, but that's again dangerous because it's an infant. If you have a spill, you're going to be falling onto the child, right? The weight of your body
Correct.
is going to be on the child's body, on an infant's body.
Correct.
So that's really, I mean, ghastly. So I would
if you
not
have an
recommend.
infant with you, go the extra mile. Please use public transport. Avoid using your two-wheelers.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, rickshaws, buses, trains, they are quite cost efficient. You know, in fact, sometimes more cost efficient than bikes, you know. So certainly you'd want to keep your child safe and comfortable as well, you know, away from the pollution on a bike.
Correct.
So it certainly makes sense.
Let's talk about toddlers now, slightly older kids. What about them? Are they
You could. Toddlers can get on bikes, you know, at around the age of 4 or 5. Short trips, school drops. You could look at bikes, but there again, the bike you're sitting on is
the scooter.
Vehicle. Yep.
Yeah, practical city-to-city riding scooter.
Exactly, is the vehicle of choice. I think for toddlers.
And why is that?
Well, two reasons, or rather the front and the back. If you look at the front, you know, you can have a toddler sitting on there as long as they don't interfere.
Obscure the rider's vision. Yeah.
Exactly, because they're going to have a firm footing on a floorboard, right, and they can stay safely onto the bike. The back is safer as well because the rear is shrouded on scooters, you know. So unlike a bike, which is completely open, exactly. You might have a
even
sari
have a
guard.
hot silencer over there.
Exactly, you might have a sari guard, but you have a hot silencer, or you sometimes can have a leg going through the guards, which are
Correct.
Well, fairly broad sometimes. So a motorbike is a little unsafe, and you take this bike for example. You know, you have these stylized tanks. You're not going to be able to keep a child safely or comfortably secure sitting on a tank. So front or back, it's a little dangerous.
So sorry bikers, but
yes.
Scooters, the more safer option over here. Of course, when you're an adult, a protective riding gear is a must. So of course, for kids, protective riding gear is a must too. But do you actually get protective riding gear for kids?
You do. So as soon as you get your child onto a bike, get some protective gear, right? Whether it's a helmet, I mean, that's the basics. You have to have a helmet by law as well. You do get a lot of helmets, right, from small to medium to large sizes.
Okay.
So, and they're available in any shop.
But these small to medium size helmets, are all of them ISI safe or ISI marked?
No, they aren't. Not all of them are. In fact, you're quite often going to come across non-ISI marked helmets than you are the ISI ones for children.
Okay.
But at least it's better than nothing. In the absence of, I mean, any protection, you know, a helmet with its you know, fiber layer and the thermocol is at least some protection, better than having nothing at all. You know, try and look for the ISI ones, of course, but I would certainly recommend, in the absence of ISI, don't go without any helmet.
Okay, so better to have something than to have nothing at all.
Absolutely.
And what about protective riding gear? Do you get those separately, or will the ones that you get as part of biking kits or skateboarding kits, they have knee pads and elbow pads as well?
Exactly. You can use those as well. Elbow, knee pads will save their knees and elbow some scrapes and bruises. you should wear those. Those are quite effective. Low speed, which is anyway the speed you should be riding at, right? When you're with children on board. So at low speeds, they are fairly effective.
And of course, clothing.
Shoes, long sleeve, long pants, long sleeve shirts will just protect children, in case of any mishap, So it's definitely the recommended way to dress as far as biking is concerned.
Okay, that's as far as kids go. Now, what about riders themselves? Do they need to keep any particulars in mind?
Well, I've seen all too often kids on the back of bikes dozing while they're riding with their parents, and it scares me.
Yeah.
So, try and ride at a sensible hour, when your child is not going to struggle to stay awake. Maybe talk to them and keep them engaged, but not with a cell phone, right? They need to be holding on to you or the bike's grab.
Or the grab rails.
Exactly, or the grab rails. So keep them engaged with dialogue so that they stay awake, so it's easier for them to then hold on to the bike. Another precaution you can take is, of course, ride far slower than you normally would. Don't try any overtaking moves that you would normally try, just because you want that extra margin of safety.
Yeah, so you have to go the extra mile. It's your kid after all. You can't afford to lose them.
Yeah, absolutely. They are, and they're too young, to recover from bruises and fractures and things like that. Well, you don't want to put them through that.
So that's all the time we had on this particular video. Thank you so much for watching.